Hello everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood can of tofu here, and you read the title, you already know. All of my characters are of homosexual descent, and I'm not even mad at that. I mean, like a good majority of my characters are in the home of sexuals. Either that or they're queer in some way, or not cis, all that good LGBT jazz. And I notice a lot of people like to throw shade for that, like, oh, all your characters are gay and pansexual. Whoa. But I don't think there's an issue with that. I think the reason most people make their OCs like that is because I think a lot of people, I don't know if this is just me, but we all want to make our OCs have some sort of relatable thing to ourselves. I think a lot of people, while they don't realize it, or whether they realize it or not, but they put a lot of their own personality, or maybe people around them, into their own OCs. And if not, then, do you. But I know that's what I do. And I know that's what a lot of people do. So, if you're queer and you want to make queer characters, go do that. Go be as queer as you want. But speaking of gays, I am drawing my two gay boys here. PG-13 and TV are their names, if you didn't already know. But yeah, I think for me and a lot of other people, the character creation process, like, I'll use these two for example, but when I make OCs, I always start with maybe some small trait, and then I build off of that. For example, this character right here, the PG-13 I was talking about earlier, that's not his actual birth name, it's just a nickname. Anyway, I started with the fact that he's supposed to be like hardcore goth, or like emotional teenager emo boy, as the teens do. Is that like, are people emo anymore? It's like 2010s, is that did the emos leave for this day and age? I don't know. But anyway, that was the start of him as a whole. Or I guess that was the baseline for his character. Whereas for this character TV, he started as like a hippie, I guess. And for me, what I do when I create characters is I'll use that baseline. Is that what you'd call it? Like a starter kit, I guess. Just one specific character trait. In this case, a goth and a hippie. And then you build off of that and create a whole new character. Like, I first made these characters and I was like, okay, one person is a goth and one person is a hippie. So what's their relation to each other? And I thought it would be quite funny to give this guy, PG-13, a little crush on TV, because it just seemed fun. Just winging it. And from there to, I don't know, make the character more in depth, I was like, well, how does he act around this character, this person that he's crushing on? Is he shy? Is he bold? Is he forward? Is that the word? And then from there, I build on that. And I guess that's that's how I do all my characters is, I mean, that was like a small little example of having a crush on someone, but, I don't know, like, for example, take a character who maybe is really into, I don't know, skateboarding. And then to build on that character, like, when did they start learning skateboarding? Do they have any friends that skateboard? When did they learn about skateboarding? And then from skateboarding, you can be like, oh, well, what other hobbies do they have? Or, you know, their friends might be into skateboarding, so what are their friends into? What are their friends into that this character is not into? And that's how I build in a character. Me personally, I guess. And along the way, because everyone has their own experiences in life and their own opinions on things, I think every character is always going to be unique to the creator. So that's nice, I think. I don't know, because I see a lot of people who are like, I don't know how to make OCs, I can't make original work. So that's a weird, that's a weird mouth. So that's how I create characters, is I start with a simple little idea, and then I just build off of that, and I put my own life into it, or experiences, or the people around me. Let me flip this. The people around me, or maybe movies or TV shows I've seen. That's a very common thing that I do, is that I'll see, maybe if a character trait is not like, if I don't know much about a certain character trait, like I don't know much about video gaming, but let's say I wanted a character who was hella into video games, and maybe I'll see a character who really likes video games in a TV show, and that's another way a lot of my OC start, was that I'll take inspiration from another show that I know, etc. And like I said, from there you can build off of that, because everyone has their own experiences. Like, I've seen a lot of stereotypically emo goth boy OCs, but I like to think that there's not any like my little character here. I would like to think that. And like, the thing with OCs is that, yeah, your OC may look a lot like somebody else's, or act a lot like somebody else's, but I feel like unless you like specifically copied off of another person, which happens a lot, honestly, then all OCs are pretty original, I think. And you'll get comments like, hey, this character looks like my character, this character acts like my character, and those comments suck. Like, if you're listening to this and you're the type of person to leave those comments, how about don't? Because those comments really suck. But yeah, I think even though characters may be similar, they're all very original to this person, which is why I think it hurts. Like if you're the type to be telling people like, yo, this character looks like this guy, like, don't do that, because these characters are a lot of times OCs are very special to the creator. So when you're like, this thing that you put your hard work and your soul into, yeah, not original. But like, nobody wants to hear that. So PSA, don't tell artists that they're not original. I think I know a lot of people are like, I guess with the internet especially, is that there's like no more original content, and there's going to be a point where we run out of that. But I don't think that that's true at all. I think our minds are like so incredibly creative, and there's like a whole slew of possibilities in the world that could happen. And I don't think anyone could ever just run out of ideas. To be honest, in this, okay, y'all mind if I just like rant here? I feel like nowadays, in terms of the media, there is not a lot of new content. Like with cartoons, there's a lot of cartoons I'm seeing nowadays that are just remakes of old cartoons. And while I love bringing back some nostalgia with revamped designs, I would love to see a new story. And I know that people are out there making new stories, but they're just not popular enough to get to the mainstream media, I suppose. This arm is long. So that's my 2 cents. But if you're ever like, well, I can't make a certain thing because it's already been done, it's not original enough, I think you should just go for it. Put your own fling into things, and there's a good chance that it'll end up very beautiful and unique to yourself. And I think that's a really big issue with art and artists nowadays, or writers, I guess, any type of art form, is that people are too afraid to go out of the box, I feel like. I don't know, people don't want to take things too far. Like, there's so many wait, I'm focused. There's so much stuff that could be done, but I think people are just not doing it because they're scared to put things out there. Like, I know me, for example, there's this comic idea I had in mind for a while, but I never, like, I worked on it, but I never like posted it or anything. I never got it out there because I was just like, no, I can't work on this yet, it's not good enough. So I kept pushing it off. But like, if you want to make something, go and make it. Like, if you want to post it, go and post it. If you want to make it, go and make it. Like, get all your ideas out. And there's like nothing wrong with being too crazy, because I think a lot of the best things come from like crazy ideas. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example. Like, can you imagine the crazy person who thought of that? And like, that's like that show is a legend now. Like, everyone knows about it. And if you don't know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I suggest you give it a little Google. It is quite the show. But if you want to make something, then you goddamn go and make it. Don't be scared that it's not good enough, or that it's already been done, or whatever reason you're holding yourself back. I can promise you that what you think may not be good enough may be like amazing in somebody else's eyes. Because I've seen that a lot before, just, you know, following the artists that I follow. A lot of them, and it surprises me, they'll post something and say, oh, it wasn't good enough the first time, or yada yada yada. Or sometimes I'll be in a stream and they'll be drawing something amazing, but then they never post it because they're like, it wasn't good enough. But like, what you think may not be good enough, like somebody else could be like, yo, this is the best thing ever. So I don't think you should be afraid to do whatever, and to draw whatever, and post whatever. Because you're the only one that knows what's going on inside of your head. So if it's not perfect, nobody will think that except for you, honestly. A lot of ideas you might have may be like extremely different to someone. Maybe familiar to you, you may think that, oh, this isn't original, but there's plenty of other people that'll be like, whoa, this is crazy new content, dude. Hope you like my voice acting. But yeah, don't be afraid to put stuff out there, because that's what I did for the longest time. There's like for example, my main comic that I always link in the description, my action comic. I never wanted to put out a comic because I never thought that my stuff is good enough, or I never thought I had the right story, or etc. But when I came out with that comic, I just I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna post it. Like get over that fear. And like since then, since working on that comic, I have been like living free. I've been a new man. It's been great. Don't ever hold back because you think you're not good enough. And like I will admit that I put out that comic like a week after writing it, so maybe I should have put a little more thought into it. But if you think that, you know, whatever you're making isn't good enough to be put out there, I promise you that it is definitely good enough and that you should just do it. Because then you're just going to waste your whole life. You're going to waste your whole life waiting until you have the perfect thing, and that perfect thing is never going to come. It'll never happen. Just put it out there and do it. Get it over with, and you'll be surprised how many people will love it. Does this look right? I can't tell. I'm not too experienced with full body drawings. When I'm practicing. Practice makes perfect. You know, I should probably use a reference for this. I'm trying to draw some rollerblades. I should use reference. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I was holding back on making. My other side comic called At Home was another thing that I was like, I really wanted to put out a comic with a few other characters of mine, but I didn't know what was good enough. I didn't know what to do with them, and all these thoughts of how I could make a good story were like blocking my view of just doing what I enjoy and posting about the actual characters and etc. Those types of things hold you back. And after I put out that comic, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm definitely doing these wrong, and I honestly have no idea what rollerblades look like. Forgive me. I follow a bunch of rollerblading accounts on Instagram because I think those tricks are awesome. But you would have thought I'd remember what they look like. I really don't like his expression here. It looks a little lopsided. But yeah, post your OCs, love your OCs, or maybe if you're not ready to make OCs, because I know a lot of people just don't like making OCs, then post your fan art. Post your crazy fan art ideas and love it. Because a lot of times, if you love your characters enough, then that'll definitely get other people loving your characters. The more passion you put into your work, like if you genuinely enjoy it, then other people will see that and other people will feed into that. There's a lot of artists that I know that whenever they talk shit about their characters, like I don't want to read about your characters if you don't even like your own characters. So if you have an idea that you absolutely love, don't think about it too much. Just do whatever you want to do. You're not hurting anyone with your art. Go and put it out there. And if you love it, somebody else is definitely gonna love it. Look at me giving a pep talk that nobody asked for. Should I finish this with a speed paint? One day I will get an outro, or I will know how to properly record videos, but today is not that day. So I guess we're speed painting this.